Welcome back, sci-fi fans, to the Science Fictionary Podcast. I am Andrew, and here again today with Marisha. She's seemingly back a lot now, at least as much as I am.
Huh.
So that's new.
Yeah.
So we're both back. So we got a few things to talk about today. We're a little behind schedule with some of it because we went out of town because sometimes you do that.
Yeah, especially when the kids are gone. You don't have to pay for a hotel room for 5 people.
Well, yeah. Well, we don't usually pay for like an extra room or anything, but
You have
like
to pay to feed them.
except at last year at Dragon Con. So when the kids were little, hey, you just squeeze all of them in a tiny, in one. We squeeze everybody into one hotel room. We squeezed 8 people into one hotel room last year.
It's too much.
The room wasn't big enough. We had like somewhere around 30 costumes with us.
We did.
Some of which were still under construction in the hotel room. And we got 2 hotel rooms for Dragon Con.
We did.
I ain't doing that again.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody in the chat already.
It's Nicole. Hi,
Nicole's in the chat. We must have called.
And DJ.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? So we got a few things to talk about tonight. So talk a little Andor. We'll wrap up our Andor conversation unless we decide to like come back and review the series as a whole. At some point, we probably will do that, maybe with some other people, get some more voices in on it.
Mm-hmm.
So Andor, we're going to talk Superman
briefly.
Yeah, we're going to talk Superman. We'll get into a few things. David's coming back next week. So looking forward to talking Superman with David. So we will we'll reserve some Superman thoughts. We got some casting news for an upcoming movie. We've got Emmy nominations, which I don't really care that much about Emmy nominations, but we're going to talk about the Andor nominations. Both the sheer volume of them and then the ones that they didn't get.
It should have.
Yeah. At least one they didn't get that they should have. So give me a moment to make sure I have all of the text banners that I need for this, which I don't, so I got to make a couple real quick.
Andor season 2.
Yeah. And one more. And I think there were other things, but we may end up, maybe we'll have to come back tomorrow night. If I remember what the other thing I wanted to talk about was, but we got plenty for tonight. So
yeah.
I did see some Rings of Power stuff of note earlier.
Really?
They have no intention of not doing the 5 seasons. Like they're still fully on board with 5 seasons. That's have good. Their lease on the property isn't up till 2030.
Oh wow. Okay. So they still have a minute.
So they've still got a little time. 3rd season, I believe, is in production right now.
Okay.
So we should get it. We'll get it next fall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I guess we'll get the next one probably. It seems to be taking about 2 years, 2027, and then 2029.
And I did kind of wonder when they decided to do Rings of Power and Wheel of Time like at the same time. They were both very, very expensive projects. So I kind of wondered if they might, I kind of wonder whenever Wheel of Time got canceled, if that might not actually be good news for Rings of Power, just because they freed up a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah, DJ finally made the live stream. Yay! I do want to tell you though, because I don't know if you were in the room. I don't think you were there for the on the 5s last night. And so this is useful information to anybody watching. If you're watching this and we're not live, if it's not 7:53 on Wednesday night and you're watching this later, don't be afraid to leave comments. Leave comments even if you're not watching us live, because DJ left some comments during a what he thought was a live stream, was actually an
Not.
episode cut from a live stream.
Mhm.
But when you did that, DJ, that video and two others, all three experienced spikes in activity during that course, during that exact same time frame when you were commenting. So I don't know that much about all their algorithm, but clearly when someone is commenting on your video, it's showing up more in the algorithm. So yeah, and leave comments. In fact, I'm not even sure that those comments might not be more valuable than likes.
Ooh.
As far as the way the algorithm seems to be working.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Oops. I'm trying to be here so I can talk to people, because we can't both talk to people on the computer. It doesn't work.
We can take turns with the keyboard.
Yeah, it just still doesn't work very good.
All right, so let's kick this off with I don't know which one you want to lead off with.
There he goes. Okay, sorry. I was having a little trouble with my YouTube here. I mean, we might as well start with Andor. I think that's going to be our. Well, maybe we can lead up to that. How about you can tell. I saw that we got casting information for Zelda. Is there anything else really to know other than we have our Link and we have our Zelda?
We have our Link and we have our Zelda. There's
young.
Not that much else to know. We know that the original Zelda creator is involved in this heavily. Mm-hmm. We know that they have made a casting. We're going to give that casting info in a minute. I should have gotten some pictures to put up here on the screen, but I didn't. But
they're very young, though, I noticed.
Well, they're young, which to me is good. It tells me that we're probably... So Zelda, the original story is very heavily Tolkien influenced.
Yes.
The creator has said as much, that he loved Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and that this was basically his trying to tell that kind of story. That's how we got Zelda. So I was really hoping that when we do the movie, and I'm still hoping, nothing's concrete. I'm sure that even like if we were telling a later era story, we would still probably go for younger looking actors to play the Hylian roles.
Right.
But we're getting pretty young actors here. I'll have to see exactly what their ages are here. They're young.
Pretty sure that she's 21. I'm not sure about him.
Well, let's see. So let's just go on and Bo Bragason and Benjamin Evan Ainsworth cast as the leads for Legend of Zelda. I like that they're younger. I like that they went that way. That seems to indicate to me what I figured they would do, which was to go back to the new Zelda games. I don't really play them that much, but everything past Ocarina of Time seems to just kind of get a little more convoluted. And we've kind of started it's kind of almost like, from what I can tell, like we have different versions of like a multiverse kind of thing. Like this where we're telling stories now is like not necessarily the same timeline we originally were telling stories in. But what I like about this casting choice, casting young, casting, kids, is always a little bit comes with some risk.
Yeah.
But these two are both pretty experienced, and what I really like is they're both really experienced stage actors.
Yeah.
Because I think that's really the trick, especially with younger kids, in getting grown-up performances out of them, is the ones that start off. Yeah, Daniel, that sounds right. So, yeah, see, Nick, I quit trying to keep up with it. I'm a huge fan of the old games.
Yeah, it seems like whenever the kids were doing Zelda last year, I did a little bit of investigating, and it seems like they have every, so long. So, periodically they have like a new Zelda and Link that kind of come back to Hyrule, in their time of need.
Yeah. So it looks like he
He's
was
16.
born.
He's 16. She's 21.
Where you say 16?
Age 16.
Oh,
He's born in
gosh.
2008. God, that's a baby. It's a baby.
So yes, Daniel, thank you. That was correct information. But
yes. Okay. So Nick says we have 3 Zelda timelines due to time travel.
yeah, I knew there was something going on there with all that. So if you ask me about Legend of Zelda lore, you're gonna get like the old school original story.
Mm-hmm.
I find the back and forth thing they're doing currently a little confusing, and then like Hyrule with machines and stuff doesn't compute for me. So I don't know. I hear good things about the games. I just
honestly, and I think that they're really going to be trying to draw the current Zelda audience, and also try and attract the middle-aged original fans.
yeah.
And that'll be interesting to watch that, because it is a fandom that has changed and evolved. It has continued to be very popular, but I think it's going to be really interesting to see what they managed to do, to kind of try and hold all that together. So I'll be curious.
Okay. So yeah, I'm excited about this. I know some people wanted this to be animated. I think live action is much more high risk, but also more high reward.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't even know if they've announced a director. I've missed it. I'm not sure who's planning. Who's even involved. Like this is our first real news. This is our first yes, it's actually real kind of news.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I think it bodes well that the original creator is he's the one that made the casting announcement, from what I saw.
Well, he was the one that basically just decided this was happening.
Yeah. So that is always a good thing. Whenever you have the creator making the creative decisions. I think that a lot of things, Star Wars, for example, I think a lot of Star Wars things kind of got off track whenever George Lucas quit making the decisions, which was his decision. Like he's he was entitled to not make the decisions anymore, but it definitely the trajectory really changed.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to talk about here. I mean, do you have just any general thoughts? I mean, I know when they first started talking about this, how did you feel? Did you want it to be animated, live action?
I mean, if you can make a great Lord of the Rings animated series, why can't you make a great Zelda animated series? I think
it's not a series, it's a
movie. That's right. Well, I guess I was kind of thinking movie series. Is there only going to be one? Surely not. Surely there's not just going to be one.
I don't know what the actual news. I've heard trilogy, but
yeah,
it's one of those things. Again, high risk, high reward.
Mm-hmm.
But the risk's real.
Yeah,
this could be real bad.
Yeah, well, so I think this is kind of the direction a lot of people were hoping that it would go. But a Netflix series is a totally different animal than the money involved in a theater live action release is a totally different ballgame than Castlevania on Netflix. It just is.
I don't know who the right person. Daniel, who would you like to see direct this, or anybody else in the timeline?
Well, that's who he said, the people who did Castlevania on Netflix. Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, I think the quick answer, the immediate gut reaction answer isn't going to happen, but it's Peter Jackson.
Yeah. No.
Del Toro would be interesting, but maybe too dark. But maybe we're gonna get a Japanese director taking a crack at this.
Yeah. I don't know. it's going to be interesting to see, I think, the direction that winds up going. And it is one of those things where there have been a lot of attempts at live action comic book, not comic book movies, video game movies, right? And they have just never quite landed. And it seems like eventually, if any of them are going to land, I think this has got to be the one, right?
Well, this one has everything that it needs to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like it has the story has enough to it.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the seemingly so far the right people behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I think you've got a good act. I think you've
Ooh.
got what appear to be talented leads.
It's your grandmother. She just tried to call me.
Okay, well, you take over for a minute.
All right. It's the joys of being the go-to people. So actually, I sort of do love this, Daniel. Andy Serkis is. There's nobody quite as that I'm quite as interested in. No, I left. I don't think I have her key. Stand by for one moment, friends.
You take this and you go check.
Okay. Yeah, I'm discussing Daniel's.
Yeah, Andy Serkis could be real interesting. I think the only problem there is I think Andy Serkis may have maybe tied up for a while. I'm not sure how many projects he's going to be involved in, but currently directing the Hunt for Gollum movie with Peter Jackson and crew. But I think Serkis is the actual director on that. So Serkis would be a great option though. It's another one of those things, like I don't really know, like I'm sure there are some other directors out there that are just not coming to mind that would be a good fit for this, but I'm excited about it. I'm just excited to see where it goes. I've got high hopes for it. I think it could be, I think it could be a really, really big thing. So we'll see. Let's see. Somebody asked me another question. Stranger Things. Yeah. What is everybody? So I guess, Ubaldo, where I'm at with Stranger Things is I did watch the last season, but I'll be honest, like, season 3 made me not care that much anymore. Season 4 was great. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the, what was really, I think, return to form for the show. But honestly, they've taken so long. I don't know if I care anymore. And honestly, I watched the trailer and it mostly just, I know it's a teaser and it's not meant to give you much, but it just looked like they just threw a whole bunch of stuff on the screen. I don't know. I'm not sure what to make of that trailer. But I would love to know what everybody else in the chat thought of it. But for me, it's going to take, I'll watch it because it's the culmination of the story, but yeah, I'm just I'm having trouble getting excited about it. Jamie Campbell Bower. I don't know who that is. Jamie, I don't know. I can never remember names. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Woo. Here I am.
But yeah, so what do you think? Stranger Things trailer came out today. Do you care?
No. Okay, so in by way of explanation, the first episode of last season was so gory and graphic I couldn't watch any more of it. So
fair.
I kind of quit following Stranger Things after that because I couldn't do it. So I don't know.
Well, did you knock something over under the desk?
No. Meanwhile, keys are not in my purse, in case anyone was wondering. I know everyone was waiting with bated breath. They're in her car somewhere.
Well, good. I was like, yeah, your car would have probably beeped at you all the way home.
Yep.
But no, we did get a trailer for Stranger Things, and we may talk about it a little bit. I kind of feel like I want to wait for a real trailer to really probably talk about it a lot, though. I felt like
so Vecna is back. Is that the word?
In fairness, I was working when I watched that trailer, or the teaser, but it just felt like they just vomited up a bunch of random stuff onto the screen. And it's cool looking. It all looks great. I mean, I don't expect anything less there. It's all like quality wise has all been fantastic. Even the season with the crappy storyline looked great.
Yeah.
So I did accidentally watch it in Italian before I watched it in English, and I was watching. I was like, "What's he saying?" Like, it was like, "Oh no, it's not something weird in the show. I'm just watching this in the wrong language."
Yeah.
Thanks, Netflix.
That's pretty funny.
Like, why the Italian version was the first thing that came up in my YouTube feed. It was like,
yeah, that's very weird. I don't know.
Maybe people really liking the Italian version.
Maybe, it sounds like Latin. Maybe it sounds creepier.
It in German. It's got to sound great in German, right?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't even like to watch things that are dubbed over in English. I just think it always sounds so like wooden and
So do you have any other thoughts on
Stranger Things?
No, Zelda.
Zelda. No, I'm excited for it. My kids are into Zelda, but it's never really been my thing. I mean, obviously it's one of those pop culture things that you sort of, you're aware of to some extent. So it's in the sense that I was a kid in the 90s. Zelda is kind of part of my, childhood context, but it's not something I've ever been particularly into. But I feel like I could get into a Zelda movie if it's good.
Yeah. No, I think it's right up our alley. As much of a sci-fi fan as I am, like fantasy's really even more my jam than at least certain things. Like, not all fantasy, but sort of Lord of the Rings coded stuff. Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's jump over and talk Andor now that we finally finished it. Our very, very late. Well, actually, hold on a minute. I might have a problem when I go to edit this. So our very, very late Andor review.
Yeah. Long awaited.
Yeah. So we because we didn't get a chance to get on the other day. We are now talking the final 6 episodes. So kind of just talking the seasons as a whole.
Yeah.
But before we do that, before we get into talking about the season, there was some news today.
Okay.
So we got Emmy nominations, and generally speaking, I don't care anything about Emmy nominations. Especially we don't talk about them a lot because we mostly cover genre film, genre TV, which are usually get snubbed. Regardless of how good they are. See Robert Downey Jr. never winning an award for anything in the MCU.
Right.
So Andor did pull 14 Emmy nominations. Now, The Acolyte also pulled an Emmy nomination, and everybody's like, all the people are like, oh, see, now it's an Emmy nominated series. It's legitimate now. It's like, you got a sound design. ILM getting a sound design nomination
should be part of the course.
Just like a given, right?
Yeah.
Like that's one of the things that Star Wars consistently. Speaking of, we're gonna get to meet like the head guy, like
Matthew Wood,
the head ILM.
Lucasfilm. Yeah.
Like they're head sound designer over
Yeah.
ILM is coming to
That's gonna
Dragon
be cool.
Con, so we're super excited about that.
Mhm.
But Andor received 14 nominations. Outstanding writing for a drama series, outstanding special visual effects in a season or movie, outstanding sound mixing. So it two Star Wars
Mhm.
shows with nominations in that particular category. Outstanding sound editing, outstanding drama series, outstanding character voiceover performance, and I would have to look to see who
Alan
actually
Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, which totally deserved.
Outstanding guest actor in a drama series.
You could silence it.
I'm gonna have to, but
Oh, the joys of being the caretaking.
I don't even know where I
grandchild.
was. Outstanding music composition for a series.
Which, yeah, definitely
Yeah,
fair.
music
I
was
loved
solid.
it. The music was
Outstanding
great.
picture editing. Outstanding director, and is all for drama series, by the way.
Mhm.
Outstanding fantasy and sci-fi costumes, which it absolutely should win.
Yeah, I think so.
Outstanding cinematography for a series. If it doesn't win that, I mean, there's some strong competition.
Mhm.
But in an outstanding production design for a narrative, period, or fantasy program.
Man, the production design, like the costumes were great, but the production design was phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal. And here's me, Ma, again. So let me go see what she needs. I'll be back.
All right. But the big one, of course, is that it did receive the nomination for outstanding drama series. So that is the one everybody's aiming for. That is one of the biggest, most important nominations for the Emmys. Hopefully Marisha will be back in a minute because man, I got stuff happening on my screen that but anyway, what did everybody think about the nominations, the Emmy nominations? And yes, let's see. Ubaldo says we need to do the Saturn Award. Yeah, so this year the Saturn Awards kind of snuck up on me. I did vote, but the rest of it kind of snuck up on me. That was kind of during our hiatus from doing the show, unfortunately. And so we didn't manage to pull it together in time to do that. But this coming year, we will definitely host a watch party again for the Saturn Awards. That was a lot of fun when we did that last year.
She found her keys.
Oh, good.
Everyone.
She had to call both of us to tell us that.
Yeah.
And she does know how to text.
She does.
We could have done the funniest thing, and we could have had Daniel call her if he's
That
still
would have
here
been
in the
hilarious.
chat. Say, what do you want? You're interrupting the podcast.
Next time.
But we will do the Saturn Awards again. Absolutely. So what do you think? Oh, so what do you think about the Emmy nominations? It got some big ones.
Yeah, I think that if they don't win production design, they've been robbed. I do think that there are some other good contenders for costumes, but I think that these were the best ones. But there are a couple of others that if they won, I wouldn't be shocked.
Okay. Like what?
I mean, Rings of Power. No, Rings of Power had some costumes, but they weren't my favorites. But I do think that yeah, Rings of Power. I'm sorry. Okay, so the fact that the Wheel of Time has the ring thing going, the Rings of Power, when I'm talking about both of them, sometimes I say the wrong thing. Yeah, I think that Rings of Power had some pretty great costumes, but I don't think they were quite as innovative as the ones on Andor. I think the Andor costumes were a little more original.
Yeah.
So we'll see though.
They look good. So I think that the one thing that this show, so there were a number of actors that I could have seen receiving nominations for
Mhm.
supporting. I really don't think that. I don't think that Luthen had anything that topped last season. He was minimized a little bit more this season.
Mhm.
So Skarsgård, but he was still great. Like Skarsgård's like always going to steal the scene when he's on screen.
Mhm.
But how did Genevieve O'Reilly not receive a nomination?
Right? She was just phenomenal.
Yeah. Now, the real telling thing is, again, genre films, genre shows tend to get
Mhm.
snubbed, especially Star Wars. Star Wars has a long history of nominations and then basically being written off as, well, it's just Star Wars.
Yeah, and they tend to get nominated for things like production design, costumes, almost
John
never.
Williams scores, which he never wins for. Mind you,
But
that should tell you everything you need to know about genre films getting snubbed.
mhm,
Is that John Williams score? Will write a Star Wars score, get nominated,
and not
and
win.
not win, and just because it's a Star Wars.
Right. Like, oh no, he wrote one of the most iconic scores of the decade, but it's only Star Wars, so who
Again,
cares? Again, right? Um, however, genre films do tend to get snubbed, especially in actor categories, like no Best Actor nominations, no Best Actress nominations, which is not surprising. I would be curious which shows actually got nominated for Best Actor and Actress.
mm,
One now wants to know. Lead actress: Matlock, Bad Sisters, Severance, The Last of Us, and The Diplomat. I mean, okay, but really? Like, Kerry Russell's a good actress, and she did a great job in The Diplomat, but not Genevieve O'Reilly and Andor level impressive.
yeah. Well, the thing is they're going to fawn. I suspect that the entirety of the actual award show, the winners, they're just going to spend the whole show fawning over Severance.
Mm,
I mean, it got like 20 nominations.
yeah.
And on one hand, it's still kind of a genre film, genre show. So, like, on one hand, like when you look down this list, you can go, okay, like sci-fi films are definitely not as, uh, not as, on the fringe as they used to be in
Although Pedro
recent.
Pascal and Bella Ramsey both got nominated for The Last of Us.
Oh, nobody cares.
I'm friends with the costume designer for the first 7 seasons of Walking Dead, and she was like, "Look, The Last of Us is this. It looks just like this." she all these people on the internet have made comparisons of all the costumes from The Last of Us. It looked just like the costumes from
Yeah.
from Walking Dead. Like, yeah, that's how it goes sometimes.
So let's see. So now we can move on into Andor. I just thought it was worth mentioning as we were talking about it. It received 14 Emmy nominations. That's impressive. I don't suspect it's going to win very many of those.
Yeah.
Like it should win Best Drama Series, but it does have some stiff competition.
Yeah.
Also, why do we lump? I still don't necessarily understand why a lot of the awards lump drama and comedy
As opposed to what?
When we nominate, so a lot of those nominations are for drama or
Right.
comedy series. Like,
is that just scripted? Is that what it's?
maybe, but like you can be talking two vastly different things.
Yeah.
And then how are you supposed to compare them?
Right. I guess that's just sort of the nature of the beast, apples and oranges all the time, all day, every day.
Yeah. But let's talk Andor. And like I said, I said this when we were doing 3 episodes at a time. Doing 6 at a time, forget it. I'm not going to get that many. Um, I'm going to miss a lot of moments
Mm-hmm.
here. But let's just talk about our thoughts on. So one for me, as good as last season ended, I've said it a lot of times. Last season, first season one of Andor started very slowly for me.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we're done, I do want to go back and rewatch, and maybe it won't feel that way to me again. But Andor, like the last half of the first season, is just so good. And it just gets better with each successive episode. And
Mm-hmm.
then somehow it takes off running this season and it just keeps getting better and better and better. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I think some of the best moments in this whole season were probably like episode 8. Like the Gorman massacre is um we left off I think our last review, like we were
Episode 7. We just watched episode 7.
well, we didn't review it, we reviewed
Right.
6. So
Yeah.
we had not really talked. We knew Gorman's like a thing, like it's coming,
Mm-hmm.
but in fact, I think we had even like we had gone to Gorman earlier in the
Mm-hmm.
season, so we had talked a little bit about it, and what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And they still found a way to fill that entire episode, that entire arc, with
Mm-hmm.
so much drama.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much happening. The stuff that's happening, I think probably the best way to talk about this, because I love the season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, talk, I see a lot of calls. This is what Star Wars should be. I don't need all Star Wars to be this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want all Star Wars to be this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I still love things like Skeleton Crew.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, Skeleton Crew is way more traditional George Lucas style Star Wars than really almost anything they've done.
Yeah.
Since Disney took over. It captures all of the things that George Lucas
Mm-hmm.
was trying to capture with the original.
Right.
Like it's really a revisiting of just the entire idea
Mm-hmm.
of what Star Wars was going to be.
Right.
So I love that. And I love that we got them both this year.
Mm-hmm.
And so that you have them and you can look at them side by side and you can go, okay, so I don't need Star Wars to be all Andor,
Mm-hmm.
but like some of it can be,
Mm-hmm.
that. Like,
Yeah.
and I can't wait to see like what they decide to do next. I never thought that Tony Gilroy would want to come back and do Star Wars. I don't know that he does. Like he may be done with Star Wars after this, but he seems to have been bitten by the bug a little bit.
Yeah.
He has spoke very kindly of Skeleton Crew as well. So, like I want more of this. When Andor first started, I was like, I don't know that I'd want Star Wars to be this, but it's too good. It's too, there's no denying how powerful this story was.
And it does such a great job setting up Rogue One.
And I watched bits and pieces of it. The transition, I don't know of any, like the transition into that movie is seamless.
Yeah.
Like it looks like, gosh, that last scene with Andor walking to the ship, he's heading on the mission where we meet him in Rogue One. And that the transition from seeing him there to seeing him when we first meet him in Rogue One, it's completely seamless. Despite the years in between, they pulled that off so well. Like the costume, like everything, even down to the hair. And it's funny because like in that last episode, he's kind of, his hair is different when we kind of see him in that first see him in that last episode. You go, the hair's wrong. Like, and it's like, and then he goes out in the rain, and then all of a sudden it's like, and now the hair is exactly what it needs to be. Like, attention to detail, it was just phenomenal. And
absolutely.
It really changes Rogue One though.
Mm-hmm.
because now Jen felt like she was the main character and Cassian is just there as a support character.
Mm-hmm.
But this really elevates him to
Mm-hmm.
at least an equal in the character we care about, and maybe
Right.
puts him over the top because you know we know, and we know Cassian so much better than we know Jen now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I see Andor is a trilogy, season 1, 2, and then Rogue One.
It's a very fair way to look at it.
Yeah.
I am interested. Supposedly, they mastered some of this stuff for theater, and then they have not done a theater release. I don't know why. I would absolutely drive the 90 miles to a theater to watch. If they said we're going to release all 4 arcs of season 2 of Andor one a week for the next 4 weeks, I would drive somewhere to go watch each of the arcs in the theater.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. So whenever I saw Rogue One, it was like, wow, what a great prequel. Because I felt like they brought very similar to what you were saying, they did the thing where it flows right into A New Hope.
Yeah.
And like you buy it. As like, and this ends and this starts, and the fact that they managed to pull this off with the prequel to the prequel is phenomenal.
Well, not just pull that off, but continue to elevate the story.
Well, like now, you realize what he's a person with real things that he's not just a lone wolf who dies and it's sad. It's like he's a person with people who care about him, who with all of these people around him, and that's more compelling.
Yeah. So, characters. What characters did you like most this season? Or as a whole through the whole series?
I feel like, speaking of elevating characters, like Mon Mothma went from like the sort of faceless, like the really stoic, calm face of the rebellion that we see 3 times in the original series, to somebody who you realize how much they have sacrificed for this cause. And that's, really, she's definitely one of my favorites in this series. Obviously I think Cassian has to take the cake because, man, Diego Luna just brought it.
Yeah.
He just did such a phenomenal job. And honestly, the fact that he didn't get nominated for an Emmy is kind of bunk.
Yeah.
Like, really, he was just so incredibly well done. And man, how much character development. Like, we saw so much character development in the course of this series.
Yeah. So we see him. So let's talk about a moment here where we meet the Force healer. And let's just go with, she's just a Force healer. We don't get any indication that she was a Jedi or anything like that. Like, she's not out there fighting on the front line. She's loading boxes, and then healing people in her spare time. But what did you think of what she has to say about Cassian?
It's very cryptic, but I think it works because, she's seeing pieces, right? And I think that we have and I really did appreciate that they brought in just the tiniest bit of that mystical element, because Rogue One is so like reality based.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, other than what little bit we get through Chirrut.
Mm-hmm.
Really not even his buddy, who doesn't really like,
right.
it's in death that he sort of embraces.
Mm-hmm. So really, that we get just a little, I think that ties it into Star Wars, just that little bit of interaction with that Force healer.
I agree.
It reminds you that this is, and we started having more frequent, comments of "May the Force be with you."
Mm-hmm.
Is kind of something that kind of starts, which, and I feel like, as you kind of see the trajectory for the rebellion, it started off as this very gritty, practical thing, and sort of was able to grow into this idealistic, in the service of good kind of world that Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia kind of land in.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's very believable. The way that they worked all of this together is very believable.
Yeah. So I do appreciate they didn't feel the need necessarily. There are a lot of people around right now. Like, we're getting into the territory of, like, we actually know quite a few characters that are running around out there at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I do appreciate, because there are some people that make Star Wars movies that would have been tempted to put all of those people. The Ghost Crew would have needed to have made an appearance, and we would have needed to see Leia, and we probably would have even had to like check in and see what Obi-Wan's doing in the hours before. Like, I appreciated that we didn't need to pull in people that didn't absolutely need to be there.
Right. And I was unamused with recasting Bail Organa, but he did a great job.
Yeah, Benjamin Bratt.
Yeah, I feel like, especially since we saw Bail Organa in the prequels, we saw Bail Organa in Rogue One, and like inserting another actor in there for like the 5 minutes, before it all goes down. I was like, oh, why even? But after having seen it, I feel better about it.
Well,
and he did a great job.
It's really the birth of the rebellion proper.
Right.
And you can't do that. We've even through the multiple tellings and multiple variations of this moment.
Yeah.
Bail's always there.
Yeah.
Like Bail is at this point, like the senators that we have around, they kind of suck.
Yeah, they kind of do.
And that was consistent. They're that way in Rogue One as well. They are not down with going and fighting this battle on Scarif. They're just and even I'm a little torn, but like even what's his name? Bail. A little bit of a coward here at this point in time. Like, we're not ready. Like, let's just keep waiting until we're ready.
Right.
But the other two are just full on cowards. They're not willing to fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would actually be curious for a story to eventually tell us what happens to those characters post Rogue One. Do they finally say, okay, maybe we can do this?
I mean, I think once the Empire blows up Alderaan, Bail is gone. They've killed one of their leaders. I think that they've now reached the point where they can't, like, it's now or never.
Yeah. This is Senator's Pomelo and Jebel were the ones that I'm talking about that
Mhm.
are there in the meeting room. And
Yeah.
like even Radis is just not really ready to fight.
Yeah.
Like, and at some point it's like, what are we doing here? Like, y'all are sitting here in the comfort of Yavin building your rebellion,
Right.
while people like Luthen
Mhm.
and even Saul
Mhm.
are doing the lifting, doing all the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
And it's like Cassian's like, there's a little bit of belittling of Luthen that goes on in that last
Mhm.
moment. And you see Cassian step up and say, no, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
stand here and listen to you.
Especially after how pissed he's been at Luthen pretty much the entire time.
Right.
Like,
But the
Luthen
thing is, in
makes him
Luthen's-
madder than anybody else.
Yeah, but it's in Luthen's death that he fully embraces his role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, he's kind of Luthen in those last few moments.
Yeah, and that's kind of who he is in Rogue One. He's the person who's going to do the thing that no one else is willing to do, because it has to be done, whatever it costs me personally. Because he was never, and I that is not what I expected. I'm not going to spoil it in case anybody hasn't seen it, but I was really surprised the direction they went with Bix.
Yeah.
I expected,
I thought she wouldn't. I thought she would die.
I totally thought she was going to die. Yeah, and
I love the ending.
Yes,
I love that final note, because because you're looking at this. You're looking at this, and what's the final note of Rogue One?
Hope. Yes.
So how do you do that same final note? Like, are you going to leave it dark, or are you going to give that, because it's really the whole point of Star Wars.
Yes.
Is hope.
And honestly, that's the thing that I loved, is that they managed to tell a very grounded story with that moment.
With all of the terrible things happening, with the rebellion is about to become very, very real. It's not that it hasn't been real, but it's we're
getting worse. It's going to get way worse.
Well, we're fixing to like go to war. It's no longer terrorist attacks and things like that. Like, we're fixing to like go to war.
Yeah.
Like, this is fixing to be no longer be hidden cells,
right?
Hitting targets of opportunity. It's about to be army versus army coming to blows.
Right.
So in that moment, where do you find hope? And I think they pulled that off perfectly. It's a little bittersweet.
Yeah.
But it's really the first time we see a real smile from Bix since the beginning of season 1.
Yeah. Yeah, she's been through some stuff.
Yeah. So
yeah, just so well done. Just unexpectedly well done.
I mean, I expected it to be well done, but it's like
but the story was unexpectedly satisfying.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, you know how it ends.
So how do you still give satisfying moments?
Like, which of these people make it to the end of the story, and you have a pretty good idea that everybody else is disposable for the purposes of this story.
Right.
And speaking of characters that did not have the ending I expected, how about Cyril?
Cyril is like maybe the most tragic character in all of Star Wars. Like, right up there with Jar Jar Binks, with that story ending they wrote where he's like basically a court jester, entertaining kids on Naboo as refugee kids. Like, this is worse. There's this moment, like, he has pursued this. He has spent years at this point pursuing Cassian Andor. It's his only thing. Like, that is his driving force. And Cassian looks him in the eyes in the last moment and says, "Who are you?" And you just see it. He gives up. He just loses all composure before he's shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like this one thing, like all he wanted was to be noticed for doing a good job.
Mm-hmm.
That's all Cyril wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And to have the person you've been hunting for all this time look at you and say, I don't even know who you are.
Right.
Wow. And the only, and then, I mean, honestly, Dedra's just about as tragic because because I kept going, because I kept thinking Cyril was like having some moments of like, am I really still on board? And he's kind of not. He is appalled at what he's witnessing on Gorman. Completely and totally appalled.
Right.
But in this moment of all is lost, he sees a moment to complete his task. But Dedra, like this moment of like, is she going to have a change of heart? And then she's not capable.
Right.
She sees it all too.
And she's not happy about it.
Yeah.
But what's she going to do? She's brainwashed.
She completely and totally brainwashed. She cannot imagine a life not serving the Empire.
You know, and like I said, whenever just a little passing comment that she was raised in an Imperial Kinderblock, it was like,
yeah,
oh, shit. I mean, she's not just like sold this bill of goods. She's had it crammed down her throat. I mean, she's probably had, you know, like we've seen subliminal messaging they're playing to stormtroopers when they're sleeping. I mean, she's probably had that going her entire life. And she basically grew up in the Red Room.
Yeah. So those two characters, like, now the thing is, like, season 1, I just didn't care that much about either character.
Yeah.
But they made me care about the story for each of those characters. But man, they have a tragic end.
Yeah. I was surprised.
What about Lonnie Jung? So now Lonnie,
I mean,
well, Lonnie got what he had coming.
Okay. I called that like the first time we met him. I was like, oh, I can tell you how he ends.
Yeah. Well, Lonnie he's a double agent. He hasn't, because a lot of people, I noticed a lot of reaction was, well, Lonnie, you know, he killed Lonnie. Lonnie was on his side. Lonnie doesn't know whose side he's on. And let's not forget, he is bringing Luthen information under duress.
Yeah.
Luthen threatens his newborn child.
Right.
In season 1.
Yeah.
So let's not forget the assassin sent to take out Mothma was sent by Lonnie Young.
Yeah.
Like they repeated it multiple times so that you would get it.
Yeah.
He's still playing both sides as much as he can get away with.
Yeah. And he's an ISB agent. That's his job.
Right. But he has seen in his moment, I believe that he's earnest when he comes in and says, I'm done. Like I've seen what they're building.
Right.
And he's no longer okay with this.
Right.
But I knew the moment he's like, where will I go? And I knew the moment that Luthen said Yavin out loud that Lonnie was dead.
Yeah.
Because that was not, Luthen's not going to give you that information.
Yeah.
And then let you walk away.
I do feel like, you know, like it did leave me wondering what happens to his wife. You know, what happens to Mom Mothma's daughter. You know, there are a lot of like auxiliary characters that I feel like, I mean, we did get an idea of what happened with Perrin.
A little bit. Like Perrin's with Scalden's wife, which indicates that something has likely happened to Scalden, whether he was rooted out as a co-conspirator of Mon Mothma, which was kind of an unspoken thing they had going on. But like,
I didn't feel like Scalden
he's not necessarily playing ball with the rebellion, but he's certainly playing under the table.
Yeah, he's definitely laundering her money.
Right. so it's definitely going to look so. So my assumption is, and there was a scene involving whatever happens there that was cut.
Mm-hmm.
We may or may not ever see that scene, but it seems that he was probably locked up or killed.
Yeah. He was really
And I think the
unlikable.
daughter is a totally inconsequential character. She has nothing for her mother. She just wants this aristocratic life.
Yeah.
She is, and this is what Perrin was. We've seen these aristocratic elites,
Mm-hmm.
especially on Coruscant. They really don't care who's in power. It
Mm-hmm.
only affects them so much.
Mm-hmm.
It just affects where their money's coming from.
Yeah.
And that's what she wants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And because everything that Mon Mothma tries to tell her,
Mm-hmm.
no
Not
interest.
interested. Mm-hmm.
She's firmly Perrin's child.
Yeah.
So I don't even know that we ever need to know anything else about that character.
Yeah. So I mean, presumably, and that you would assume that if somebody commits treason that loudly, usually in those kinds of regimes, everybody they're close to disappears. Yeah. But I'm assuming since Perrin still got his head, that she does too somewhere.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they'll give us any more info there. I don't know what the future for any of these characters are, but we left off with some interesting characters still around. I've always liked the Clea character, but she got her own episode, episode 10, I believe, where we see her back. We finally learn her backstory. And learn about hers and Luthen's relationship and exactly what it is. And there's this thing where Luthen definitely sees her as a daughter, but he still can't, but not at the expense of the other things take precedent.
Yeah.
And as he tells her, the one thing that he is worried about is what he's doing to her.
But whenever there is somebody's going down, he knows somebody's going down. It's gonna be him or it's gonna be her. He makes sure it's him.
Right.
Which I think is, one of the few moments where we see that he has a heart.
Yeah, you don't get many. And I mean, it's a character that fully acknowledges that he can't. He's given up all of these things,
right,
for the movement. I loved the return of Nemec, his the one that wrote the manifesto.
Oh yeah.
And I love that where we see they're listening. The ISB agent is listening to it.
Yeah.
Which is just really, he knows what's coming. He's done. It's over. And in his last moments, he's, I think, still trying to understand this drive of people where he clearly has all the advantages. And he's maybe just now beginning to understand what's driving his enemy.
Now, I did expect Clea to do something drastic. I really expected her to jump off a cliff or something.
I think she did. Well, I think she was prepared to do something drastic.
Yeah.
And I think she did. Cassian stops her. And I love this, and we kind of glossed over it a minute ago, the Force healer. And I love this moment. She calls Cassian a messenger. He's building to a purpose. And it's interesting to me that the one that sees that, I think Luthen recognized the same thing about Cassian. And I think that Clea recognizes it when Cassian is the one that comes to save her.
She's like, oh yeah.
Of course it's you. Yeah.
I thought you were done. She just can't stop herself, can she? Like, here he's come, risk, the wrath of the Empire to come bail her butt out. And she's like, yeah, I thought you were finished with all
But
this.
I love, so one of the things that, I love about Star Wars as a fantasy story, a fairy tale, is just the idea, because the idea of destiny only jives so much with science fiction, but
Right.
with fantasy, it's
Mhm.
everything.
Right. Yeah.
And it's this, the way the force is guiding Cassian on this journey to the
Mhm.
point that this force user like can see it
Mhm.
around him.
Yeah. Like, you're an important piece of this puzzle.
Yeah. I mean, he is the piece. He's the messenger that brings hope to the rebellion. Like,
Mhm.
We have a lot of other, players that play huge roles. I mean, this is not to discount Hera and the Ghost Crew, or
Mhm.
Ahsoka, or the things that we know Leia's out there doing right now,
Right.
or even or Bail. Even though I think Bail's playing a little bit of a coward at this exact moment, is I don't know. Cassian is
He's a linchpin.
Yeah, absolutely,
for all of these things. Yeah.
For a number of occurrences.
Mhm.
But the fact that he's at all of these important moments,
Mhm.
and it's not just, so I love that they found a way to say it's not just story convenience that he's at these moments.
Right. Yeah.
He's carrying these events forward to something.
Mhm. Yeah. He's not just there because the story needs him to be. He's there because he's making the story.
Right.
Yeah.
So I love this idea of, because if there is such a thing, so in this universe we have the living force. It's the one we talk about in the original movies. It's what binds the galaxy together, all living things.
Mm-hmm.
But the cosmic force, the idea of the cosmic force, which is something I love when Star Wars explores. It's one of the reasons I'm a huge Dave Filoni fan. And even if Dave makes mistakes going forward, Dave has done more to explore the cosmic force than pretty much anybody else. But when you say the cosmic force, it's this driving event. It's what's driving Cassian's destiny. Cassian is not just there. He's been chosen for this moment.
Yeah. He's there for such a time as this.
Yeah.
He's the person for the moment, and it'll be someone else next. But for today, he's the person.
Hey, Gannon. Thanks for joining us. We had a chat full a minute ago. I'm not sure who's still around. I blinked a minute ago and had like 20 messages I had to sort through. That's never, I don't know if that's ever happened in here before, but so, I mean, honestly, I feel like we could spend, and we probably will spend, a great deal more time tearing this season down as far as like, delving into all the depths of it. But the tragic characters and Dedra and Cyril, his mother, it's like awful. She's awful, but she knows she hasn't even been told yet, and she knows what's happened.
Yeah, she is awful, but I hope she feels bad for all the mean things she said to him. He was awful too.
He was.
But you kind of start to understand some of his awfulness after you meet his mother. You're like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, there's just, Gannon says this season's thick. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I could probably spend the next 6 months dissecting this show.
What good writing, though, man.
It's such good writing, but it builds. My concern with Andor was that it couldn't build the world. That it was just going to be dark and gritty, typical sci-fi drama. And then it wouldn't do anything to grow the world, but it really opens up so much, even things we've heard about, like the Gorman massacre,
Right.
and like bringing that to life.
So where's the Gorman massacre been discussed before?
I'm pretty sure Gorman is discussed in Rebels. Now there's two. I'm not talking about the thing with Tarkin. I think that was mentioned somewhere, maybe a book, something obscure.
Okay.
But maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But
well, you knew that he had tried to land it on top of a group of people.
Yeah, so I'm not sure where I pulled that information from.
Yeah.
But we have heard about the Gorman massacre. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know where we've heard that. I want to say it's probably Rebels.
That makes sense, or it could have been Rogue One.
Yeah,
but yeah. The Gorman massacre was referenced in Legends. Okay, so it's something that's kind of been around.
Yeah,
kind of like the Bothans. Yeah, many Bothans died.
Yeah, well that's gonna be the next story. That's second Death Star. So
yeah, right.
The Manny Bothan story.
Yeah,
but sadly, we already know that Manny Bothans dies.
It's true.
But yeah, I want Tony Gilroy needs to stay connected to Star Wars in some way, shape, or form. This is it's too good to just like let him walk away without. I mean, honestly, at this point, somebody should turn around and say, what do you want to make next?
Yeah.
And like go do something completely detached, because he kind of hinted at that, that, you know, he liked the idea of, well, that's what he liked about Skeleton Crew, was getting to do something that was not necessarily connected to.
Honestly, do you remember that Star Wars Underworld series that they were talking about like 20 years ago?
Oh, the George Lucas show. That's actually been coming. I think some actual footage from that kind of came out recently. But that was one of the crazier things that George Lucas ever came up with, because I remember reading the old Star Wars magazines, the Star Wars Insider. Like, he wanted to like stockpile seasons of finished episodes before they started releasing it. And it's like, you're just going to spend all that money and not release it? Like, what are you? That's crazy.
Wow. But I think that Tony Gilroy could probably really do something with that concept.
Yeah. So this is one thing I'm seeing this a lot, and like, I'm all on board for Tony Gilroy to be doing Star Wars, but like I'll be honest, like the writing in that Skeleton Crew, I mean, like top-notch Star Wars writing.
Yeah.
Like, I feel really, really fortunate as a Star Wars fan. Like, we really kind of like have had a rough few years. But this year's just been so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gannon says the same Star Wars Underworld show that has binders of scripts sitting on the shelves at Lucasfilm caked in dust. Yeah, I mean, they were just writing they were producing scripts. There was so much. I would love to know, and I don't know if we would ever know if any of those scripts were recycled for Clone Wars.
Yeah, I kind of wonder. Like, I feel like maybe some of the Ventress stuff, maybe some of the Cad Bane stuff got used for that.
But yeah, that was he had this grand vision of producing the Star Wars show that would be
with movie quality
episodes.
He was 15 years too early.
Well, he was too early. But let's talk about another thing George Lucas was envisioning while they were in the process of doing this. I cannot find it. It's in my box of Star Wars Insiders in that closet over there. And one day I'm going to find this article, because a lot of people seem to have forgotten this. Like 2001, 2000, somewhere right in there, George Lucas was talking about that he would soon be at the point where he could make live action Star Wars movies without actual actors,
Really?
which is what we're like confronted with now.
Yeah. It was seemed like a better idea when it wasn't actually a possibility. I mean, honestly, that would have been like George Lucas's dream. He was never good with the actors portion of his movies.
No. Let's see. Gannon says a good year for Star Wars, but I do wonder what's next for Lucasfilm Animation. The mall stuff has been relatively quiet lately. Will we hear more on that soon? Maybe. I'm gonna be honest. I can't. It's hard to even keep tabs on what's going on with Lucasfilm. Honestly, I don't feel like I don't feel like we're going to see anything very significant in animation until Filoni's done with his movie.
Yeah, I think that's probably
it's either that or he's got to find somebody to. I mean, he's at a position now to find the person to take the reins, and I don't feel like they've gone out and found that person.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was laughing at
yeah.
Faster, more intense. Yeah. Sorry, I saw that.
But if you ever hear George Lucas out there bemoaning what AI will do to filmmaking, let's not forget he was advocating for it like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Over 20 years ago.
Before it was possible. But now it is. It's scary.
Yeah. He was convinced that he was going to get it there much quicker. And maybe he would have if he had really stayed in the business.
Yeah.
Well, let's be honest, like George Lucas made the prequel movies and he quit and went home with his money.
If I made that much money, I probably quit and go home with my money too.
Yeah. But can AI, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if AI can say George's dialogue.
So bad.
George Lucas has a wonderful imagination.
Amazing world builder.
But
like that fireside scene in episode 2 is literally one of the cringiest things ever written.
Yeah.
Ever. So bad.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think, I always felt like he was struggling to figure out how this character, how Anakin in this moment where he's really unsure about everything would respond. And I maybe Hayden Christensen wasn't an experienced enough actor at that point to really, because sometimes I feel like you need the actor to like find the tone and maybe he wasn't, but it may just be that George just didn't allow it.
Yeah. I mean, everyone thought Natalie Portman was a terrible actor and she's won like lots of awards.
Yeah.
All the things. So, all that to say.
Yeah. I always get a big kick out of hearing Harrison Ford talk about his conversations with George.
Yeah, because they're just like, I feel like Harrison Ford just doesn't like bullshit, and George Lucas really likes to hear himself talk.
Yeah, George is always actively thinking about his story.
Yeah.
And he has changed the story as to how they got to the finished product a number of times.
Yeah.
Either that or he just retells it from a certain point of view. I'm not sure what's going on there, but like, I think sometimes George is talking about like what they did, but he has a new idea and he inserts it into the conversation.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things that George has said have evolved over the years.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I guess I did realize Natalie Portman did Dior commercials. It's funny.
Yeah. Hey, I work on Dior commercials. Commercials pay so good.
That's what I hear. You haven't worked on any commercials yet.
They don't shoot a lot of commercials in Mississippi.
Well, they should. I don't know why they would. It doesn't make sense to shoot commercials in Mississippi.
No, not really.
They shoot a lot in New Orleans, though.
Mm-hmm. But they've got lots of people in New Orleans. They don't need me.
True.
Alas.
Yeah. You just like sneak in there.
I mean, yeah, maybe. That boot. That's great.
All right. So, again, I think, and I think we probably will come back for Coruscant Radio Underground and do some, pick some characters, just do a full character study. But there's so much. But I love the show, and my one gripe with the whole season was that first episode, and it's really more about the. That moment, I feel like, with the sexual assault mention and all that. Was that an episode? Well, first arc. But I felt like, and I said it on the show when we reviewed that, I feel like when you start doing that, you're making Star Wars not special and just like every other drama out there.
Yeah.
So they really but it's that one moment, and that's not going to ruin a show for me. This show is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, it really is.
I will be happily waiting to see what they give us for Andor physical media, because Andor, I believe, is the one thing they didn't give us in physical yet.
Yeah.
Let's see. Gannon says the sexual assault mention was way overblasted. I was really so worried. I was terrified. Like,
okay, because I watched it.
A big part of why I didn't start the show was because, like, I don't know if I want to encounter this, because this is going to make me so mad that it's going to ruin the whole season. Well, and then we watched it, and I was like, oh.
Well, because I have watched it, and you asked me about it. You were like, "Did you get to the sexual assault scene?" And I was like.
Well, I probably didn't say it like that.
Well, I mean, it was but you were like very offended, like, and I was like,
well, I was more curious because, like, there's so much rage bait, and there's so much looking for things to be enraged about that I was like, I don't know what to believe, but like I'm scared to watch it because like I'm scared I'm going to watch it and I'm going to blow up about it.
Yeah.
But I watched it and went, I kind of hate that.
Yeah,
but oh well, like
it wasn't graphic. It wasn't like anything that it was like, my 15-year-old can't watch this because it's gonna like corrupt her little innocence or something.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I'm all for people giving. I mean, again, I'm not a movie critic. I'm just giving you my honest opinions on things here. Sometimes I love things, sometimes I hate things, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be honest about whether I loved or hated something, and I get that's what I want everybody to do. Like, I want everybody to be able to do that. But there's so much that's just rage farming.
Yeah. I mean, people were the same way about Mon Mothma at the wedding. They were like, oh, aren't you glad you waited 30 years to see Mon Mothma get drunk off of her mind and
I love
dance
that.
at a disco?
We got like an EDM bot. Like,
I mean, here's the thing. Like, we've always had like different weird kind of music happening in Star Wars. Like I bought that.
Yeah. So Gaina said, I saw that scene. I was like, oh, so this is leading up to the actual bad scene everybody was talking about. And then that hypothetical scene. Yeah. Same here. I was like, I didn't love it. I didn't love that they did any of it in a Star Wars show, but it was really a big nothing compared to what people were trying to make it out to be.
Yeah.
And yeah, even after that episode, I was like, is there still something that's going to happen to Bix? And I was like, nothing ever did. I was like, oh, I guess this was just like it was just an excuse to be really angry about a really, really amazing TV show that I can't imagine. Like, unless you wanted to say, like, if my kids were watching it and said, this is kind of boring, I'd be like, yeah, like maybe you're not ready for like, to follow like the conversations and the more cerebral parts of what's happening.
Yeah.
But like, I felt like if that was the moment, Mon Mothma dancing at a party, like if these are the things that we're having to like reach for to be really angry about a Star Wars show, we're trying too hard.
Yeah.
So like I said, I didn't like the scene, but after I saw it, afterwards I was like, well, it.
And it does, the thing is, it does contribute to Bix's arc.
Right.
Right.
Because,
That's
well,
one of the
Bix is the
things.
mirror of Cyril and Dedra.
Yeah.
And that, like, they're all going through it. Everybody's going through it. But, what happened, Dedra and Cyril end up being these tragic characters. And then the ISB, the guy that's over them.
Poltergeist.
Yeah. Like,
Poltergeist.
it ends up being a pretty tragic character.
Yeah.
But then you have Clea and Bix coming out the other side with new sense of purpose.
Yes.
And so that's a really nice contrast.
Yeah. If everybody
can't come out the other side squeaky clean with a perfect story. So not that I feel like she had enough bad things happen to her.
Yeah.
That you didn't necessarily need that.
Yeah.
But it's over. It's done. I was actually more irritated. with the actress at the end of the day, talking about how proud she was to be the first person to say that word in Star Wars. Like, really? That's what we're proud of? You played a really great character, and that's what you're proud of.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know what your motivation as a human being is now.
Yeah.
Like, not your character. Your character's great. But like, as a person, like, what are you about? And now I'm,
like, I really just expected Bix to be like, they're going to build her up, and get her more involved in Cassian's life, and then she dies. Like, that's what I thought her arc was. And so was really surprised whenever that's not the direction they went.
Yeah.
So, pleasantly surprised, because, I mean, let's not kid ourselves. That trope has been done a lot. So much. Woman as motivation for man's, death of woman as motivation for man's going crazy and going on a vengeance spree.
But it's phenomenal storytelling.
Yeah,
Star
really
Wars or otherwise, this is just a phenomenal piece of storytelling.
Yeah.
All the people that made Star Wars this year need to make more.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, I think that we've gone a lot longer than I expected to go on Andor. So maybe we will leave the Superman conversation for another day. Like maybe tomorrow. We'll come back and talk a little Superman.
Yeah.
Just Superman.
Yeah.
But as previously mentioned, David's coming back next week, and he actually I think he said he would do YouTube.
Yeah, he did.
So I don't know if he'll really be on screen or if we'll just have like we'll have to like have some sort of stand-in picture for David over here in the corner. I don't know. I'm not sure what we're doing, but David is coming back to talk Superman. I'm really excited to talk about it. You have any final thoughts?
Oh, I love Superman. I'm really excited to talk about it too.
You got any final thoughts on Andor before we wrap up?
Andor.
I was just saying we'll talk Superman. We're gonna hold our full review for next week when David is back. But we'll probably get on and talk a little Superman before then. We'll just probably withhold our full thoughts until we record with David.
It was good. I loved that they managed to tell such a gritty, down-to-earth story. I mean, the thing is, we know that Cassian is like, by this point, he's at the point where he shoots his informant. Because he, Like he's that person at the beginning of Rogue One. And we know that that's the person that he is, but it still managed to tell such a compelling story, which I just loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah. Solid, great character driven story. Some of the most character driven stuff we've ever had in Star Wars, maybe the most character driven stuff we've ever had in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I really think launches Cassian Andor into a much higher position in the hierarchy of great Star Wars characters. Like, I would actually be really curious. Like, you know, like I said, I was saying earlier, I always got the Star Wars Insider. And it seemed like all the time they were running a who's your favorite Star Wars character poll.
Yeah.
And it was always Han Solo, Luke Skywalker. Han would always just edge out Luke. And I really, you know, but they'd have more of a list. You know, they'd have like your top, you know, the top 10 answers. And I would really love to see where some of these characters rank now. Because for me, this moves Cassian way up my list. Like, I liked Cassian in Rogue One. But like, Cassian wasn't the kind of character who was like all of a sudden, like, he's absolutely one of my absolute favorite Star Wars characters.
Yeah.
But now he kind of is.
Yeah. He moved up the totem pole for sure.
I mean, let's be honest, as far as characters on screen, he's one of the most well-rounded characters we have.
Yeah.
Like, in some ways, he's even more well-rounded as a character in what we've seen, not overall, not with all the extra stuff we've gotten over the years, but with what we've seen on screen. Like one of, if not the most well-rounded character we've seen.
Yeah. So I'm with Gannon here. Went from why gave us a show about a character hardly anyone cares about after the box office bomb of Solo to wow, this was way more than we deserved. And I kind of like whenever they're like, we're making an Andor show, I was like, hip hip hooray.
Yeah.
I mean,
I knew it could be good, but like I didn't know it could be this good.
Yeah. I was intrigued by the like spy angle, but then they started the show and I was like, this isn't a spy show.
Well, it is, but it's so much more.
It wasn't. The first couple of episodes of season 1 really were not so much. At least I didn't feel like they were. And then it just has
no, because we had to get there, and we really we didn't get to that real point till the end. Right. Season 2 is a spy show.
Yeah, for sure. But the initial like, why are we doing this? To get into the end of me being like, wow, it's one of my favorite things.
Right. Now we should also mention, it's worth mentioning that it was originally envisioned as one 24 episode season of TV.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
It was envisioned as a full traditional length TV series. And for one reason or another, somewhere along the way, they decided to release it in multiple parts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Gannon says, I still think Lucasfilm has a problem focusing on their main characters. Andor was good, but I also feel like half of the episodes aren't directly tied. Yeah, I mean, that's certainly true. I do feel like Andor is the torchbearer for the events of the series, but I also feel like that Clea episode, we needed that.
We did, yeah.
Because otherwise we really didn't have any. We didn't really have any reason to. I think it would have been unsure how to feel about her character when she goes in, kills Luthen, and then you start going, well, she was fine as a character, but we don't know anything about her. But yeah,
I feel like it also gave Luthen a little more depth. You know, like it makes the fact that he's going a little more tragic.
Well, to see him a little before he's fully enveloped in this character he becomes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those certainly could have been separate series, but I don't know. I feel like as a whole series, like it works really, really well.
And they did a good job balancing the elements. Because honestly, I feel like if everything had just been Cassian the whole time, I would have gotten a little over it. Like I feel like they needed to kind of balance some of the things that were happening.
Yeah. Now, I mean, there are other stories in here to be told,
Yeah, for sure.
and there are other spy stories in here to be told.
Mhm.
There's still a whole bunch of stuff, and I don't know, maybe too much Saw would not be a good thing,
No, I don't think
but
so.
man, Saw's crazy.
It's always, yeah, straight up.
But I feel
I
like,
was so glad we finally got some K2 though. I love me some K2.
yeah. Anyway, I felt like overall this is just an extraordinarily well constructed TV show.
Yeah, I agree.
But anyway, I think
Very
we're going to
good.
leave it there. Because like I said, I think I could go on and on about this for a good long while.
But
And
Marisha drove all day and she's about to turn into a
I
pumpkin.
think some character studies from this could be fun down the road. And
Yeah.
of course, you know, I will be waiting anxiously to find out that Tony Gilroy's doing anything in Star Wars again.
Yeah.
But anyway, we will be back later this week, maybe tomorrow, probably tomorrow, to talk
Yeah.
Superman. So stay tuned for that.
Mhm.
And thank you very, very much. Let's see. Want to mention this comment. Saw Gerrera was handled perfectly. Perfect title. Rebels, Rogue One, Rebel Rising. Yeah. Such a good character.
Mhm.
I think too much would not be good, but like,
Yeah, I mean, I could get
super
tired of it.
interesting character
Mhm.
and shows the far edge of kind of the dark side of what the rebellion could become.
Mhm. Yeah.
So anyway, we will be back. Thank you to everybody that hung out with us in the chat. Hit that like button, that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to find out next time we go live. And until next time, may the force be with you.